When we carry them in our wombs for 9 months, the only thing we do not think about, I don't think any mother ever thinks that her child is going to be a special needs. So, to all those who expect us to accept it real quick, it's very unreal. And I wanted to start today's episode with this because I recently met a mom who's struggling with a diagnosis. And I just want to tell all the new parents that it's not easy for any mother. Me, my guests today here, two beautiful mothers, I'm sure they struggle with the same. So it's just okay. Acceptance comes with time. The only point is that acceptance should come. So today's episode is going to be really exciting. I have two beautiful, glowing moms in front of me who have a beautiful journey. They are mother to single boys. My first guest is Kuratilan. Kuratilan is a mother of a beautiful boy, Suleiman. Welcome, Kurat. Thank you so much for taking time out.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Pleasure. And my second guest is, whenever I meet her, she's glowing. She brings the party to the room, no matter how quiet it is. The moment she enters the room, it's like it starts to glow. And the way she's talking, I'm sure she goes through a lot of struggles on a daily basis, but she's inspiration to me. I love her. Savita, thank you so much for coming. Savita has a beautiful boy. We call him the party boy, Ishan. He's a teenager. Savita, welcome, and thank you so much for taking time out.
Thank you so much.
So, guys, it's I don't make questions. I love the podcast to just go in a flow. So we'll just share our journeys. I would ask them questions. I'll try not to be very formal because that's the whole sole purpose of this podcast, to put in front of you a very raw picture of mothers who have been through journeys, who have been through struggles, but now they're standing very firm and strong, but there's still a storm inside. So my first question to you, Kurat, quickly run us through the early signs that led to the autism diagnosis for Suleiman.
So Suleiman's diagnosis was very unlike the other kids. Typically what happens that either a kid is autistic by birth, or there are some signs that a kid shows at the age of 12 months to 20 months. But Suleiman developed typically till the age of 3.5 years. And he had functional vocabulary. And at 3.5 years of age, he started regressing. And when we went for everywhere we could and we knew about, they checked the boxes. He did this at 12 months. He did this at 16 months. And everything was checked that, yes, he did. He was not fitting somewhere on autism spectrum initially. So they gave it, you name it, they gave it so many different names. But finally, several years later, we found the proper diagnosis, which was childhood disintegrative disorder, which was studied separately before the DSM-5 criteria. But DSM-5, as it puts everything under the umbrella of autism, so it's not pretty much studied separately now, but it affects 1.7 kids in 100,000. Where a child regresses after 3 years of age.
So he had reached all the milestones, but then he regressed.
Yes.
So if I may ask you, you're saying that it took several years to get the diagnosis. In all those years, were you getting any intervention for him?
Yes, we started intervention earlier. We started the therapy, ABA therapy in particular, we started right after, because we somehow were convinced, not just by the professionals, but self-study as well, that this regression can be possibly covered up through ABA therapy, the behavior analysis and all that. So we started that as early, even before the proper diagnosis.
Okay. So you were on the right track.
I don't know if we were, but yes, whatever felt right at that time.
Like you didn't sit back, you took the intervention.
Yes, we took the intervention, yes.
Yeah, you didn't wait for the official diagnosis. That's the right approach I'm talking about, that you don't wait.
There are life happens, whether autism happens to you or any other condition happens to you, life happens. But there are things that are not in your control, and there are things that are in your control. So I believe that focusing on what is in your control is, it should be the priority. That way you avoid the frustration, I believe.
Yeah.
And you keep a peace of mind.
That's a good approach. That's a good approach. Savita, so how was it with Ishan? Ishan is your firstborn, your only child,
First and the only child.
the only child. So how was it in the beginning? What were the signs that led to the diagnosis?
So he was the perfect child. Each and every milestone was perfect. He was having quite a few good words also, even before MMR. So till 2 years, everything was perfect. After that, something happened in our family that I had to go back to the work, and I had to keep him in the daycare. And after that, he suddenly lost track of each and everything because of the separation which he had from me. And then he became mute, hyperactive, and all the things went haywire. We went to doctor, lots of different diagnoses happened. Oh, maybe nuclear family, maybe speech delay, maybe this, maybe that. So we were in denial, maybe this, maybe that. So after that, when I went to Pakistan in at around age 2.8, I got proper diagnosis of autism. Now, in front of doctor, when I asked him, okay, what is a treatment? This word of treatment, what is a medication? Then he said, listen, sit down. You need to understand what is this. There is no medication. There is no treatment. You need to understand this is a lifelong disorder. This is not a disease. You need to understand. Then he gave me a proper 2-hour lecture, counseling session, and I was just sitting frozen in front of him. And he made me understand that maybe you need to quit on your career because one of the parent has to be with him. And then I decided to quit on my career and be with him. So this is how it is that was the total shift in our family where, I don't know what happened with him and how it happened. Science totally disagrees that, MMR can cause this, but my life is the example of it. I have videos where he was totally, pointing, following my command, giving eye contact, saying mama, baba, asking for the things. And then life changed. So yeah, it happened with me.
So you're from the category that believes that MMR is the reason, because there is a lot of opinion about that as well.
I say that.
Okay, I respect that. Everybody has an opinion.
Yeah.
Like in my case, they didn't reach any milestones.
Yeah.
Since I think from 4 months, I could see that they were delayed. So every case, since it's a spectrum.
Everybody is different. I mean, we need to understand. Like we are saying gut issues, gluten-free, casein-free. How does that happen? Our ancestors used to eat gluten. How did we reach there?
Yeah.
We are respecting that parameter also now that gluten is actually affecting our body. Now, why are we discussing those things right now?
Yeah.
Everybody is different. So we need to accept that, some of the things are affecting our bodies.
Yeah, it's a huge debate. It's a never-ending debate, actually, the vaccines. Kurit, so when you get the diagnosis, obviously it changes everything around you. So what were your challenges when you went public about it? You told the family, you told the friends. I'm sure there were judgments as well because it's part of the journey. How did you manage with the family, friends, society when it was official that, okay, Suleiman is on the autism spectrum?
I think it is difficult for just everyone, not just me. So everyone goes through, because of course, especially when you have a kid in family, when there is no other kid in the family who is on the spectrum and your child is the first one. So as Savita said, that there was a stage of denial as well, accepting yourself itself. How could my child have that? And why me? And all those questions, being human, they come to you. And then, of course, there are judgments from others. There are a lot of questions from others. The questions that are not easy to answer, basically.
Yeah.
So definitely we had the difficult time with that as well. But I think educating every single person on a personal level helped a lot. For example, if my mom would say that I raised a child like this and, do this, and then I would respect that and respectfully tell her that, yes, you did that. That was a different child, and that child had different needs. This child has different needs. So explaining them how it works. And I think it took quite a while to educate your friends and family. And we have been very lucky to have people around us who understood our needs, from the day one. Our friends, yes, we do not have that big friend circle now as we used to have, and we are possibly not in connection with a lot of other relatives as well as we used to have. But the smaller the circle, and
The
if
better
they
it
are
is.
if they are understanding, it's better. So you need to understand that when anything like this happens, whether your own diagnosis or your child diagnosis or anything else that hits you hard, you should be ready to lose relationships.
Yeah.
It's part of it.
It's part of it.
It hurts, but it's part of it.
Yes, it does. Being human, of course, it does. But it's part of life, because the people who are not aligned with what you are going through, and they don't understand, then there is no point of knocking that door again and again for
Yeah,
no
and
reason.
explaining.
Yes, but we have been very lucky that our family, our immediate families, and our very close friends, we have very specific, very less friends.
That's nice.
But they understood it very well. They are very welcoming with Suleiman. They host sometimes a special event just for Suleiman. So we have been lucky in that.
You're lucky. You are lucky.
Yes,
actually.
you are. Indeed.
Savita, all of us start a journey with therapies. Of course, this is the only way out, as you're told initially.
Indeed.
So, what were your biggest challenges with therapies? I'm not talking about schooling, I'm talking about therapy centers. What was the biggest problems that you faced in the initial years?
So initial years, of course, that was at that time Google was not that advanced. Nowadays, it's really indeed advanced level and
Best friend.
and in fact, WhatsApp is also really a good friend.
Yeah.
We have a lot of groups also.
Mm.
So whatever the resources were there, we were just going and putting our kids, and we were putting them for 6, 7, 8 months, and then we were finding it out, okay, we are not getting results, and then pulling them out. So in that way, the golden time of like 6, 7, 8 months were wasted, and money was also wasted. And that early intervention time is actually the golden time of a child. So that time was wasted along with the money. So, and there were very less resources at that time. And unfortunately, all these centers and therapists do not realize how much pain it is for the parents that, when they take up a child for like half an hour, 1 hour, and we pay hundreds of the dirhams, how much we work hard for that, and we look forward for the results. They do not realize how much we put forward for that, and the pain behind this diagnosis. We look forward for the results behind the early intervention. So it was a really difficult time, those beginning of the time, to find the correct center with early diagnosis. So the 3-4 years of the beginning were really difficult time until I found the correct center. That connections were really important, that correct network was really important. So right now, even if somebody is listening to me, the newly diagnosed parent, I would really recommend them to find your network, your tribe, talk to the people, talk to the parents who are experienced in the field, find the correct center, find the correct right people, right therapist, and do not go behind the names.
What is correct center? How do you define that? How a new parent goes and knows that this is the correct center?
There is no correct one size fits all. You will find in 6 months if a therapy is creating a change in your child's behavior. Number one rule. If in a 6 month there is no change in your child, there is no the therapy is not making any difference. Number
6
one.
months.
6 months is even 3 months. Number one. If the therapist or the center is hiding anything from you during the therapy, it's not a good center.
It's a red flag.
Red flag, biggest red flag. Plus cost.
Mm.
Compare the cost.
Mm.
Definitely.
Money does play an important role. I
Play
agree.
an important role. Definitely.
Mm.
How much they are communicating with you. Interaction. Plus how much they are communicating in terms of the writing.
Yeah.
Writing is the important thing.
And I guess how much are they training the parent as well?
Definitely. Because if they are not training you for what they are doing it in the center, then what's the point? You are there with them 24/7.
Yeah.
If they are training them for the flashcards and you cannot implement them and generalize them at the home, what is the point of
Exactly.
doing that in the center?
But I think both of you will agree that initially you're so overwhelmed and you're so emotional. Somewhere I feel you get exploited for those emotions as well, because I don't know how much I'm going to get bashed for this, but your emotions are cached by a lot of centers, a lot of therapists, because we are at a point in this world where our kids are looked at as a problem to be solved, and you go to a center and they're like, you need 40 hours of therapy, and at one point I gave it for some time, and then you're financially so exhausted, I can't do this. Initially, as you said earlier, you think you can somehow fix it, but when the bubble bursts, you're like, oh, this is lifelong, I need to wake up. Like, you're so overrun by the emotions, you get back up. Kurit, I just wanted to ask you that fear, guilt, exhaustion, anger, these are few emotions that keep coming back as a mother, and they haunt you. For me, right now, it's fear, because they're growing up, and I'm scared being sick myself. What's that one fear, one emotion that takes over every now and then?
I think there is not a single emotion. There are so many emotions, and they take over. Sometimes a single emotion takes over, and sometimes all of them all together.
Yeah,
so it's I think everyone goes through that, but I strongly believe that what has helped me is working on myself, because unfortunately, it's very unfortunate that we grew up in a society where emotional intelligence, or it was not a thing, or we were never trained for emotional intelligence. We were always trained for hiding emotions. That has to do a lot with who we are today. So I think for me, the best thing that I did with myself was training myself for emotional intelligence, upskilling myself, because you can't raise a child for the future with the skills of past. You have to upskill yourself, whether those are upskilling yourself for emotional intelligence, upskilling yourself for financial intelligence, upskilling yourself for educational intelligence, anything, but work on yourself, upskill yourself. Because in order to take care of that person of determination, in order to take care of, and there are people who have more kids, and there are people I know who have, including yourself, you have 2 kids on the spectrum. I met a lady who has 3 kids on the spectrum, 3 teenagers. And then I had met a woman who had 2 kids on cerebral palsy, both on wheelchair, and the 3rd kid on spectrum with severe autism. So I think we all have our difficulties, and sometimes it feels that my difficulty is more than the other person's difficulty.
But you need to, I think what you're trying to say is looking down.
Yes.
Yeah.
So always think about that there are people who have more than you, who have more difficulties than yourself. So I think investing in yourself is the best thing you could do to yourself. And investing yourself is not investing in skincare. Investing in yourself is not going to the spa. Investing in yourself is investing in your mind.
Yeah.
Upgrade yourself, just like your new smart TV needs an upgrade, and you always need a new iPhone. You also need a new every time to meet the challenges of new world that is bringing to you.
I would like to answer this.
Skincare is also important.
Yes, it is important. Definitely, it is important. I'm saying that skincare is not only investing in yourself.
But I think that leads to my next question actually. When you, emotional regulation is actually the word, how do you do that? I mean, mothers who have just started their journey, it's too much for them. They're like, I need to manage my child. Like, I had a BCBA in the last episode, Dr. Nick, and he was like, if parents are given a choice initially that we will train you or your child if there is a financial problem, they don't get trained.
They don't
They'll
want
go
to.
for the child. So same is the thing here. If I have to spend money to learn a course for myself, for my emotional intelligence, or choose to give therapy to my child, in the beginning,
Actually,
I will fall for my child.
This is actually a human nature that we fall for the immediate outcome, because we see that when a child gets the therapy, we will happen to see the immediate outcome. We don't understand that if we invest in ourselves, then we can get a sustainable and long-term impact on our child. Thankfully, when we were in that stage, I also, like Savita said, I also sent my son to the center for some time, and then I realized that even if if my child gets 5 hours of therapy every single day, then rest 19 hours he's going to be at home.
Yeah.
So if I don't know, maybe I don't have any connection with centers anymore. Maybe now centers are more optimized for that. They are more regulated. But at that time, things were different. There was a lot of hiding. There was no parent training, because being a business owner, I can also tell you that you have to take the profitable decisions being a business owner. Doing business is not easy as well. So for a center, if the center wants that, okay, parents should get trained, but most of the parents say that, no, we don't want training. We want the child to be trained. So why center would invest in something that is not much in demand, and why would they invest their resources in that? So that was the case, I think, in that time. And when I did my certifications, a lot of them I did online. I did CBT, I did RBT, I did a lot of other certifications in behavior analysis, so that I can prepare myself for managing my child. And believe me, it was worth investing, because it didn't only help me managing my child. I built 3 businesses out of it.
Yeah.
So investing in yourself is never a bad choice. It's always it always pays you off in one way or other.
Definitely.
And a happy mother raises a happy child, a satisfied mother. Actually.
Amreen, I would like to take 1 minute out of this. You asked a question, what is your biggest fear? I would like to take 1 minute. My biggest fear right now is, and that is why I take, is that what will happen to my child if I'm not there tomorrow? That is why I, train my child in a very regressive manner and in a very aggressive manner to be independent. That is my biggest target right now, to make him independent, so that at least he will be able to manage himself. At least he'll be able to eat, do bathing himself, or maybe cook something for himself and take care of himself, so that he will not be too much dependent on the people, where he's staying with somebody in his life where I'm not there for him. So my current fear right now in my head is this fear. Maybe it will change later, but current fear is this.
Making him independent.
Yeah.
I've seen that you work really hard on him.
Yeah.
Poor child.
Yeah. But that is, I want to be vocal about it, because people have asked me, why you're I'm like, yeah, this is it. This is life. Be realistic.
Yeah. I am in the same boat. I am the bad cop.
I'm
and
a
you
bad
have
cop.
to be, yeah.
But if this is not the case, I'm like, no, life is like that.
It's for their betterment.
If a child can do it, let's just be like that. He can do it, let's just do it.
Yeah. Yes.
I totally agree. And in fact, I learned that from Savita a lot, because we used to go to some sports activities. Remember the baseball? So Ishan would carry the big bag all the time. He would carry, and I was like, and she would walk just straight, like
a boss.
to the car. And Ishan is carrying the all bag, and she's like, I'm making him a responsible man. And I loved that idea. And believe me, I copied that. To
We all
Suleiman.
learn from each other, Amreen.
And now
I learn
Suleiman,
from all moms.
all the time Suleiman carries my bag, and once my husband asked me why he's carrying a bag, and I said he's becoming a responsible man.
We all learn from
That's
each other.
the beauty of your tribe.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
learn from each other. It's
I
so
go
beautiful,
to
yeah.
all these groups of the moms, sports activities, and I cheat so much from them. This lady was doing this. Let's do that.
Yeah, yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think that's the beauty of having people in your
Yeah.
group who have been there before you.
Yeah.
Like yes, it's because see, it feels good from inside that you have a group of people who have kids with your age,
Yeah.
and you are struggling with the same things, and you are venting out, and you are feeling good temporarily
Yeah.
after venting out. But it's so important to have those people in your network who are a little bit ahead of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because see, now Ishan is a bit older than Suleiman. Ishan is 14.
Yeah.
Suleiman will be 12 sometime in some months. So I think there was a lot that I followed Ishan's journey, and then from that I applied those. Many things did not work. Some things that did work, and I'm so proud of that.
And same, when I go to groups who have adult kids with autism or some other special needs also, if I see something, I go to those parents and say, listen, hey, I noticed this thing. So my son is at this point A, B, C, D, but your son is at PQRST. So I believe I can reach to the point F.
Yeah.
But to reach PQRST, how can I do, and what kind of resources I would need? So can you just guide me? So, those parents are so helpful, Ambreen.
Yeah.
They say, okay, fine, I have these at home and I don't need it. Why don't you just come at home? I'll show you how to use it. And if you don't know how to do it, I'll teach your son, and we can go ahead and we can do that. And trust me, those things have helped me a lot. And my son has, mashallah, done all these milestones with these kind of network, and all these parents, all these network, and this thing helped. So all those mothers and parents who are listening to me, God bless you all. And all the parents who are listening to me, those are struggling, please reach out to the parents who are struggling. Everybody is so helpful, kind hearted. Just reach out, they will help you. Trust me.
Find your tribe around you.
Find your
There are
tribe.
people.
And
Yeah.
do not try to fit in. This puzzle here I'm wearing will not fit into the mainstream.
Yeah.
We will fit into our own world.
Yeah.
Do not try to fit into the that world. We are meant to be within ourselves.
We're meant to be different.
We are a bit different.
Yeah, that's a lovely point. So when you came to the decision of schooling, Suleiman, is he going to a mainstream school or a special school, and why did you choose the?
Suleiman is neither going to a special school
Very
nor
touchy
in a
topic.
mainstream. He's being homeschooled, and the reason we chose to homeschool him was because, of course, our frustration with the centers initially, because we felt that center is not the right choice for him, because what we were expecting from center, unfortunately, we didn't get that. Then mainstream school, although he got admission in one mainstream school, but that mainstream school had 30 kids in the classroom, which we believed was too much for Suleiman. And since he already had an experience in mainstream nursery before, where he regressed, so we were reluctant of that. So we didn't really choose mainstream for that very reason. And then homeschooling was not easy, but we gave it a try and we saw that it's working.
So how do you, when you say homeschooling, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
How do you do it? Are there any particular programs that you follow? Any curriculums?
There are several curriculums. There are many curriculums that are available online, and there are some that you can get through some center. But unfortunately for Suleiman, because he has very special needs, his case is very rare, as I mentioned earlier. Nothing was fitting well for him, so I had to pick up some things from this curriculum and some from that. So mix and match and customize it for Suleiman. So we focused a lot on functional skills training and life skills training. So Suleiman is very helping around in the house, and Suleiman is very helping around in the grocery and doing outside.
So Suleiman, how does he communicate with you?
So Suleiman, still has some ways of communicating. I mean, he would he wants to be independent in a lot of things. So although we wanted initially a lot that he should be able to communicate, he should, we forced him a lot, as the therapists suggested that you should force him to say, ask for this thing. But he was, by the way, he got his speech in between. He got his speech back 2 times, and then he regressed back in speech twice again. So for Suleiman, we realized that speech is not the only way of communication. So we trained him to be independent as much as he can. So for example, if he needs to eat something, he would preferably go and get it himself. But if that thing is not working, so he will bring the thing to you to make it for you. So he has his communication ways. But he's very independent in a lot of things, like making small meals. Like sometimes it's very funny, but I tell my husband that, because my husband, he's a picky eater, and he is also a kind of person who would wait for me when especially it comes to serve the meal. So whenever I go outside, Suleiman, if for Suleiman I have kept the things he would take. So I often tell my husband that soon I will be handing you to Suleiman, so Suleiman can take care of you while I'm outside. So Suleiman is, mashallah, learning a lot in these. So
there is a form of communication. It's not words.
See, speech is not the only way of communication. There are tens of other ways of communication. There are a lot of assistive technologies. So go for whatever works for you. Try everything if you can afford. Try everything and pick one that's working best for you. Sometimes no assistive technology, nothing. Sometimes child finds his own way to communicate. And that's perfectly okay.
One biggest struggle, one biggest question that I get is the parents are really worried is toilet training. I have seen, I think 80% of parents are struggling with it. How did you do that? If anybody's listening to you, we're really running out of time. So any quick tips, because that's one question that my inbox is always filled with.
Yeah, that's the biggest concern for most of the people and parents on spectrum, and biggest challenge. And I'll tell you, Ishan got toilet trained at the age of 9, and I almost lost hope. And I thought he'll be on nappies for the rest of the life. He was on the biggest nappies in Carrefour, and I used to pray. And I thought that he will be on the biggest, nappies section.
Yeah.
And whenever I used to go to the nappy session, I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Till what age? I'm buying those
adult nappies.
Why? And I used to ask, how long? 9 years.
Yeah.
Till what age? And how much will I go through? He was a picky eater. Those khichadis and custards, and how? Those mashing bananas, juicing blenders, I don't know what not. You ask me, I've gone through each and every stage of my life. If you see Ishan, he's an upside down baby right now. Boy, adult right now.
Yeah, teenager.
Yeah.
So what did you do?
So, and he regressed 5 times. And touchwood, I had an incredible teacher at that point in time. She said that, you know what, enough. She said, now if he comes in the diaper, I will kill you.
Okay.
So what? Poo-poo in the car, clean up.
They need to get up.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let him. I'm like, I can do it. But this fellow will put it inside. I mean, he will hold it. What should I do?
Yeah.
So she said, no, let him do it. I said, you know what? He has a history of holding it for 5 days. He will be sick and will be hospitalized for 5 days. Said, no, he's a human and he will do it. Because he was so attached with the teacher. So it happened somehow that she trained him.
So she came like an angel for you.
Yeah, she came like an angel, and it happened with the help of that particular teacher.
So I think it's a lot of patience and not giving up.
It's basically It's basically a holistic approach.
Yeah, yeah.
I say it's like as a parent, I always say in each and every meeting, at everywhere, a parent or a teacher or therapist cannot do anything individually.
It has to be teamwork.
Holistic approach.
Yeah.
Whenever you are choosing a goal, you do it as a team.
Yeah. True. I agree.
You are choosing to say mama, 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 mama.
Everybody knows what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it has to be holistic.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
and
It's
I
about-
think toilet training has been a
Because
tough.
it's an ecosystem you are developing for
Yeah.
a child.
Yeah.
So when an ecosystem revolves around a child, it has to happen.
It has an effect. Yeah.
Yep.
Because since we are running out of time, so I'll just quickly come to my most favorite question: caregiver burnout. We have been there. There have been incidents recently. I don't want to mention them because they trigger pain in me. I couldn't sleep all night. Are there any signs that you're at the edge of the cliff? And if there are, how can you work before you fall off the cliff?
I think we all learn from our experiences, and the caregiver burnout is a very, very real thing. Unfortunately, again, we have always been trained to take care of people around us, and taking
us.
care of us has always been associated of being selfish. So again, once you start working on yourself, once you start working on your mindset, a lot of things start unfolding. Secondly, I think your body is amazing. It's a marvelous engineering from Allah that it starts giving you the signals when it needs rest. And if you don't give it the rest that it needs, then it has its own ways to get that rest.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
there are always the signs. Burnout does not go with the planning a retreat or going out for a spa. Burnout requires some internal work, and you need to consciously take time out for yourself. Meditation has helped me a lot. If you are new to meditation, there are a lot of meditations online you can do.
YouTube.
Yeah. So again, the point comes to there are a lot of things going on, and there will be a lot of new things as you grow in your journey, as you grow further in your journey, because every new age and stage of autism brings entirely new challenges.
exactly.
Many times you are prepared for them, but many times you're not prepared for them and you don't know what to do. So in that case, the only thing, if you are in your best mental and physical state, that's how you can deal with all the challenges.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautifully said.
Savita, there's a lot of stigma around getting therapy for yourself. I mean, I am planning to get therapy for myself. To all those listening, yes, I do struggle with mental health, and I'm very open about it. There are challenges everywhere in your marriage and your relationships. I plan to get therapy because I think
Go for it.
It's high time. But to women listening in Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, autism is everywhere. There's still taboo. There is still stigma. People, and then it's not only the mother who needs therapy. If parenting clashes, I really want to highlight. Sometimes husband, father, and the mother, they're not looking at autism, at the development of the child through the same lens, and we struggle. So the mother will end up in therapy, but the father will not, because there is taboo. I don't want to go. And when mother gets therapy, she comes back to the same house with the same stress. So how can we work on this, getting this thing better? Because I think it needs a lot of work. I see mothers getting stressed, eventually getting some disease out of it, because that's how our body responds. What do you think? How can you make it normalized? Go to therapy.
Well, to be honest, Asian society somehow is not developing, and that's very unfortunate. We are getting worse day by day. We don't want to develop mentally at all. So I would say it's high time, women, please work on yourself, because at the end of the day, it's not about our body only. If we are not physically, if we are not mentally happy, we are not going to raise our kids happy, because our generation, the upcoming generation, is not going to be thankful to us. We are not going to get medals, because I'm going to talk in Urdu now. Koi tamga nahi milega. You know what? I'm not going to give medal to my mom. Oh, mom, you did a good job. No, it's not going to happen, because I saw my mom frustrated most of the time.
Yes.
because she was just cooking in the kitchen, right? That happened to your mom, that happened to your mom as well. Was she happy? No, because she was just working in the kitchen. Did she did something for herself? I don't think so. So it is very high time that we work on ourselves also, and we take time for ourselves, right? So especially for the special need mom, it is very important that we work on ourselves
And dad.
and that also. When this diagnosis happened, the whole dynamic changes.
Yeah.
Family dynamic changes. You know, the family has to work on the bonding, you know, because the child actually breaks the family union.
Yeah. Yeah. So
You know-
normalize therapy, going to therapy.
Please.
Actually, go to the therapy and tell no one, please.
Why?
Go to the therapy and tell no one.
Why to tell?
Yes.
And even if you tell, it's fine. I mean, I don't understand. What's the shame? I mean,
Exactly. If you have some...
but I'm sure if I tell my mom I'm going to psychologist or psychiatrist, she'll be like, "Kya ho gaya beta? Like, are you okay?" Like, no, I'm not okay.
I mean, why to tell? I mean,
why not to tell?
No,
It's your
actually,
life.
it's fine. You should not. I think that's where comes boundaries. People who don't understand your needs, and then if you still try to tell them, I think you frustrate yourself more. So it's better if somebody is not understanding. It's okay,
Do it
and
for
it's
yourself.
it's perfectly okay that your parents are not understanding you. It's perfectly okay that your siblings are not understanding you.
It's your life.
even best friend is not
Like,
understanding
you need
so-
to take the lead of your own life.
Yes.
So lastly, ladies, just recently UAE got the certification for the first UAE autism friendly country, and UAE has a very major role in our lives. If we are sitting here calmly talking, it's all thanks to this beautiful, beautiful country. One message of hope, because this thing gave me so much hope, like 10 years back, where we were and where we are, inclusivity, accessibility, and it's just so beautiful. I can't thank this country enough. So I wanted to end the podcast on a very hopeful note. So to all the mothers listening, one message, quick message of hope.
I think hope is something that we all live on, and I think the biggest hope is our own kids. All our kids are beautiful. Whether they have a difficulty raising a child, even believe me, maybe we don't have experience. None of us have the experience of raising a typical child. You do have, but raising a typical child is equally difficult as raising a special needs child. Maybe yes, we do have a little more complications, but parenting is hard. But it doesn't mean that our kids are they can't do anything. Our kids have the ability to do just anything.
But in their own way.
It's just we have to discover their potential. I so strongly believe that every child on the spectrum has something unique in them. They can do amazing things with their talent. Some of them can be great musicians. Some of them can be great mathematicians. Some of them can be great in just anything, something else, right? So instead of focusing on what the child doesn't have, focus on what the child can do and promote that, work on that, nurture that. What you nurture, that grows. You nurture the grief grows. You nurture something potential, the potential grows. So I think that is something, and this is something I have learned from UAE, that you can do just anything here.
yeah.
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 That's the beauty. And Savita, lastly, I want you to address the other side of the spectrum, because it's a spectrum. Some people have potential, some people can be musicians, mathematicians, but we know the world is full of children who have autism, who are struggling as adults as well. They need support throughout their lives, and life is really tough for them. There are many. And it is very difficult for those parents. I mean, my heart sinks thinking about them. You see videos of adults hitting themselves. They're non-speaking, not toilet trained. What would you like to say to those parents? Because it is tough for them.
Well, my heart goes to them, and as part of this community, when I meet all those parents, I see adults who are not toilet trained, and adults means 30 years and non-speaking. So I would just request to governments in different countries, and especially here also, to look into making some rehab centers for them, residential properties for them, and if they can look into this, so that adults can have a peaceful life, and support for the families, and also these centers where the special needs centers where the kids are having education, proper audit system for them, because we parents are paying quite a huge amount of education for them. So where we don't know the quality of education and the therapies, we should have a proper audit for them, that if we
Check and balance.
check and balance how much we are paying, what are we supposed to get from them, and how much therapies we should get them, how many hours of services should they provide, and how many leaves are they supposed to provide. If we can get that
That's
That will
wonderful.
help.
that will
Yeah,
really
that will
help.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
If you're putting in so much money, you should ask for accountability.
Yeah.
Ladies, thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
It's
Ambreen.
never enough when you sit and talk about autism,
Yeah.
because there's so much. It's a spectrum to talk about.
It is
It's
indeed.
never enough. Thank you so much. Both of you are very busy moms, so
So are you?
I try to keep myself engaged, working on myself. So this podcast is like a really close venture. Thank you once again. I love you both. And you guys are, I have learned a lot from both of you. Lots of love to you, beautiful, beautiful boys. And to all those listening, to all the moms listening, one message that I would like to give in the end: your mental health is as important as your physical health. Do not bother what the people around you are going to say. If you need help, go seek help. Remember that if you are not in a better health mentally and physically, you cannot raise a better child, no matter how much expensive therapy are you giving him in whatsoever country. Prioritize mental health, get therapy if you want. If you don't want to be talking about it, it's your choice, but prioritize your health. And until the next episode of More Warrior Mummy podcast, lots of love and tons of power to your beautiful angel. And please take care of yourself.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.